Marcus Chen was checking his cargo list when he heard the small footsteps behind him. He turned around and saw a child standing at the entrance of his docking bay. She was not human. She had 4 arms, skin that glowed with a soft blue light, and eyes as purple as the evening sky on Earth. She was a Valorian, one of the many alien species that lived on Kepler-7 station. The station was a busy place. Ships came and went every hour. Traders sold their goods. Workers fixed machines. People of dozens of different species walked through its metal halls. Marcus had lived here for 3 years now. He ran a small shipping business with his old freighter called the Stubborn Mule. It was not a fancy ship, but it was his home. The Valorian child looked up at him with those big purple eyes. She was young, maybe 7 or 8 years old by human counting. Her glow was dim, which Marcus had learned was not a good sign for her species. A healthy Valorian child should glow bright. "Human Marcus," she said. Her voice was soft and careful, like she had practiced these words many times. "I need to talk to you." Marcus put down his cargo list. He kneeled so he could be at her eye level. "Hello there. What's your name?" "I am Kira." She held her 4 hands together nervously. "You are the human who helps people. Everyone on the station says so." Marcus smiled a little. It was true that he often helped others. He had fixed Mrs. Gorton's water machine last week for free. He had given food to the Rethkari family when they had nothing. It was just how he was raised. His mother always said that kindness costs nothing but means everything. "I try to help when I can," Marcus said. "What do you need, Kira?" The little girl took a deep breath. Her glow flickered slightly. Then she spoke the words that would change his life forever. "My mother needs a partner. I need a father. Please marry her." Marcus blinked. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Of all the things he expected to hear today, this was not one of them. What? He finally managed to say. Kira's purple eyes filled with tears, but she did not let them fall. "My father died in the war. The big war with the bad people. Now my mother is alone. On Valoria, a mother without a partner is called incomplete. The government people say we are not a real family. They want to take me away from my mother." Marcus felt his heart squeeze tight in his chest. He had heard about Valorian customs before. They were strict about family structures. A single parent was seen as unable to provide proper care. It was an old and cruel tradition that many younger Valorians disagreed with, but the old laws still existed. "Where is your mother?" Marcus asked gently. "She runs the medical clinic on level 6. She heals people. She's very good at it." Kira's glow brightened just a tiny bit when she talked about her mother. "But she is very tired. She works all day and all night. She does not sleep. She does not eat enough. I hear her crying when she thinks I am asleep." Marcus stood up slowly. This was a lot to take in. A child was asking him to marry her mother, a woman he had never met. It sounded crazy. It was crazy. "Kira, I am honored that you came to me," Marcus said carefully. "But marriage is a very big thing. Your mother does not know me. I do not know her. You cannot just ask a stranger to marry your mother." "Why not?" Kira asked. There was no challenge in her voice. It was a real question. She truly did not understand. Because that is not how it works. People need to know each other. They need to care about each other. They need time. Kira tilted her head. "But you help everyone. You are kind. You are good. My mother needs someone kind and good. I watched you for many days. You never turn anyone away. You smile at everyone. You even talk nicely to the cleaning robots." Marcus could not help but laugh a little at that last part. It was true. He did say good morning to the cleaning robots. It was a silly habit. I appreciate you watching me, Marcus said, but I cannot just marry someone I have never met. Kira's glow dimmed again. She looked down at the floor. Then we will lose everything. The counselor says if my mother does not find a partner soon, I'll have to go live with a proper family. I do not want a different family. I want my mother. She finally let the tears fall. They glowed faintly as they rolled down her cheeks. Marcus felt something break inside him. He had seen a lot of pain in his life. He had been a combat medic during the frontier wars. He had held dying soldiers in his arms. He had seen the worst things the galaxy had to offer. But somehow, this small crying girl hurt him more than all of that. He reached out and gently touched her shoulder. Hey, do not cry. Please do not cry. I am sorry, Kira said, wiping her face with two of her hands. I should not have asked. It was silly. My mother would be angry if she knew I came here. She does not know you are here? Kira shook her head. She would say I am being foolish. She would say we do not need help from anyone. She is very proud. But I am scared. I do not want to lose her. Marcus sighed deeply. He looked at his ship behind him. He looked at the cargo that needed to be delivered. He looked at the life he had built for himself. It was a simple life. A lonely life. He had no family left on Earth. He had no close friends on the station. He had his ship and his work, and nothing else. And here was this small, glowing girl, asking him for the one thing he had secretly wanted for years. A family. Kira, he said slowly, I cannot promise to marry your mother, but I can promise to help. Let me meet her first. Let me see what is happening. Maybe there is another way to fix this problem. Kira looked up at him. Hope flickered in her purple eyes like a tiny flame. You will help us? I will try. She threw all four of her arms around him and hugged him tight. Her glow brightened until she was almost hard to look at. Thank you, human Marcus. Thank you. Marcus hugged her back and wondered what exactly he had just agreed to. He had a feeling his quiet life was about to become very complicated. He was right. The medical clinic on level 6 was small but clean. Marcus stood at the entrance and looked around. There were a few patients waiting on benches. A Rethkari with a broken arm. An old human woman with a cough. A young Valorian with bandages on his leg. They all looked tired but calm. Behind the front desk was a tall Valorian woman. She had the same purple eyes as Kira, but hers were older and more tired. Her skin glowed with a very faint light, so dim that Marcus could barely see it. She was beautiful in a sad way, like a flower that had not seen the sun in too long. This had to be Solara, Kira's mother. Marcus took a deep breath and walked up to the desk. He was carrying a box of medical supplies. He had bought them that morning with his own money. His plan was simple. He would pretend they were extra supplies from a delivery. He would offer them as a donation. It was a good excuse to meet her. Hello, Marcus said. I have some medical supplies here. Surplus from a shipment. I thought your clinic might be able to use them. Solara looked up at him. Her eyes studied his face carefully. You are the human cargo hauler. Marcus Chen, you know me? This is a small station. Everyone knows everyone. She did not smile. Why would you give supplies to my clinic? We have never met before. Marcus felt nervous under her gaze. She was smart. She could tell something was not normal about this situation. I just had extra supplies, he said. It seemed like a waste to throw them away. Your clinic has a good reputation. I thought they would be useful here. Solara stared at him for a long moment. Then she sighed and took the box. Very well. I am too busy to argue. Thank you for the donation. You are welcome. Marcus turned to leave, but then he stopped. If you ever need more supplies, let me know. I get shipments all the time. Sometimes they're extras. Solara did not respond. She was already back to her work. Marcus left the clinic feeling strange. He had met her for less than 2 minutes, but something about her stuck in his mind. The tired eyes, the dim glow, the proud way she held herself, even when she was clearly exhausted. He could not stop thinking about her. Over the next few weeks, Marcus found more excuses to visit the clinic. He brought more supplies. He brought food. He brought a new light for the waiting room when the old one broke. Each time, Solara accepted his gifts with suspicion, but she never turned him away. "You are strange," she told him one day. "Humans are supposed to be selfish. You trade with people. You take payment. That is how your species works." "Not all of us," Marcus said. "Some of us just like to help. Why? What do you gain from this?" Marcus thought about the question. He could not tell her the real reason. He could not say that her daughter had asked him to marry her. That would ruin everything. "I was a medic during the war," he said instead. "I spent years trying to save lives. Old habits are hard to break, I guess. When I see someone who needs help, I want to help them." Something changed in Solara's eyes. Her glow flickered slightly. "You were in the frontier wars?" "Yes, on the human side, obviously." Solara was quiet for a moment. "My husband died in those wars. He was a soldier." "I am sorry," Marcus said. He meant it. He died protecting a human outpost. He always said that all life was valuable. Human, Valorian, it did not matter to him. She paused. "I used to be angry about that. He died for strangers while his family waited for him at home. And now? Now I'm just tired." She turned away from him. "Thank you for the supplies, Marcus-chan, but please do not think that your kindness will earn you anything from me." "I have nothing left to give." Marcus did not push. He simply nodded and left. But he came back the next week. And the week after that. During his visits, he sometimes saw Kira. The little girl was always happy to see him. She would run up to him with all 4 arms open for a hug. She told him stories about her mother, about how Solara used to laugh all the time before her father died, about how she used to sing songs while cooking dinner, about how her glow used to be so bright that Kira could see it from across the room. "She does not sing anymore," Kira said one day. "She does not laugh. I miss her laugh." Marcus felt his heart ache. He was starting to care about these two more than he should. He was starting to imagine what it would be like to be part of their family. It was a dangerous feeling. He tried to push it away, but it kept coming back. One evening, Marcus was leaving the clinic when he saw a Valorian male standing in the hallway. The male was tall and well-dressed. His glow was strong and confident. He looked at Marcus with cold eyes. "You are the human who keeps visiting the widow," the male said. It was not a question. "I bring supplies to the clinic," Marcus replied carefully. "Who are you?" "I am Counselor Vareth. I represent the Valorian Trade Council on this station. I also represent traditional Valorian values." He stepped closer to Marcus. "Solara needs a proper partner. A Valorian partner. Someone who can provide stability for her and her daughter. That sounds like her choice to make." Vareth smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Choices are a luxury for those with options. Solara has no options. She will accept a proper bonding arrangement, or she will lose custody of her child. Those are the only 2 paths before her." Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. "That seems unfair. Fairness is a human concept. We Valorians prefer order." Vareth turned and walked away. "Stay away from her, human. You do not belong in this story." But Marcus did not stay away. In fact, Varia's words made him even more determined to help. That night, he lay in his bunk on the stubborn mule and thought about everything. He thought about Kira's tears. He thought about Solara's tired eyes. He thought about Vareth's cold smile, and he made a decision. He was going to do something crazy. Something that would either save this family or destroy his reputation on the station forever. He was going to fight for them. The human way. The Valorian registry office was a cold place with white walls and bright lights. Marcus stood at the front desk and placed a document on the counter. The clerk behind the desk was a young Valorian woman with a confused expression on her face. "I'm sorry," she said. "Can you repeat what you want to do?" "I want to file an intent of courtship," Marcus said. "For Solara Veth, I am declaring my official interest in forming a partnership with her." The clerk blinked. "You are human." "Yes. Humans cannot file Valorian courtship documents. Actually, they can." Marcus pulled out another paper. Confederacy Law, Section 47, Subsection 12. Cross-species domestic partnerships are recognized by all member worlds. This includes courtship proceedings. I had a lawyer check it twice. The clerk took the paper and read it slowly. Her confusion deepened with every line. "This law is very old. I do not think anyone has ever used it before." "Well, I am using it now." The clerk looked at him for a long moment. Then she shrugged and stamped his document. "Very well. Your intent of courtship has been filed. The subject will be notified within one station cycle." Marcus walked out of the office feeling both excited and terrified. He had just done something that no human had ever done before. He had challenged Valorian tradition using their own laws. He did not know if it would work, but at least it would buy Solara some time. The news spread across the station like fire. By that evening, everyone was talking about the crazy human who wanted to court a Valorian widow. Some people thought it was romantic. Others thought it was insane. The Valorians were mostly shocked. A human trying to enter a Valorian family? It was unheard of. Solara heard the news from a patient at her clinic. She closed the clinic early that day and marched straight to Marcus's docking bay. When she arrived, her glow was brighter than Marcus had ever seen it. But it was not a happy glow. It was the glow of anger. "What did you do?" she demanded. "What were you thinking?" Marcus faced her calmly. "I filed a courtship document. It is a legal way to show my interest in you." "Interest? We barely know each other. You have been bringing me bandages and food, and now you want to marry me. I want to help you." This was the only legal way I could think of. Solara's 4 hands clenched into fists. "I did not ask for your help. I do not need a human to save me. I am not some broken thing that needs fixing. I never said you were broken. Then why? Why would you do this? What do you want from me?" Marcus was quiet for a moment. He looked at this angry, beautiful, exhausted woman standing in front of him. He thought about lying. He thought about making up some noble excuse. But he was tired of pretending. "Because I am lonely," he finally said. "I have been alone for 15 years. I fly my ship from station to station, delivering cargo, never staying anywhere long enough to matter to anyone. I have no family. I have no real friends. I just exist." Solara's glow dimmed slightly. The anger in her eyes softened just a little. "And then your daughter came to me," Marcus continued. "She asked me to help you. She was so brave, so scared. She loves you so much that she walked up to a stranger and begged him to save her family. How could I say no to that?" "Kira came to you?" Solara's voice was now a whisper. "She did. And since that day, I have been coming to your clinic. I have been watching you work yourself to death. I have been listening to your daughter talk about how much she misses your smile. And somewhere along the way, I started to care. Not because I want something from you, but because helping you made me feel human again." Solara stood very still. Her glow flickered between dim and bright, like she could not decide how to feel. Humans are strange. You form bonds so quickly. You attach yourself to anyone who shows you kindness. It is unsettling. Maybe. But is it wrong? She did not answer. Look, Marcus said, I am not asking you to love me. I am not asking you to pretend anything. But my courtship document gives you legal protection. While I am officially courting you, Varth cannot force you into an arranged bonding. It gives you time. Time to find another solution. Time to breathe. And if I do not find another solution, then we deal with that when it comes. One problem at a time. Solara was quiet for a very long moment. Around them, the station hummed with the sounds of life. Ships landed and took off. People walked past the docking bay without looking inside. The galaxy kept moving, uncaring about the two people standing in silence. Finally, Solara spoke. If I agree to this courtship, there will be rules. You will not touch me without permission. You will not make decisions for me. You will not pretend to be something you are not. Agreed. And you will tell me the truth, always, even if it is hard. I promise. Solara took a deep breath. Her glow stabilized to a soft, steady light. Then I accept your courtship, Marcus-chan. You may try to win my heart, but I warn you, it will not be easy. I do not trust easily. I do not love easily. You may end up wasting your time. Marcus smiled. I have plenty of time. I am very patient. That night, the station's gossip network went wild. The human was officially courting the Valorian widow. Aliens of all species talked about it over drinks and meals. A Rethkari merchant shook his large head and muttered to his friend, Humans are insane. They bond with anything. Pets, machines, enemy orphans. There is something wrong with their brains. His friend, an old Denari with wise eyes, watched Marcus walking with Kira near the observation deck. The little girl was holding his hand and glowing brighter than she had in months. Perhaps, the Denari said slowly, or perhaps we have forgotten what the galaxy once knew. That family is not about blood. It is about who stays when things are hard. The Rethkari snorted. That is foolish talk, maybe. The Denari smiled. But look at that child. She is happy. When was the last time any of our children were that happy? The Rethkari had no answer for that. He just finished his drink and tried not to think about the human and his strange, brave heart. 3 months passed on Kepler 7 station. Things slowly changed for the small family that was forming in the shadow of the stars. Marcus started spending more time at the clinic and at Solara's small apartment. At first, it was awkward. Solara kept her distance. She watched him with careful eyes, waiting for him to reveal some hidden motive. But as the weeks went by, her guard slowly lowered. It started with small things. Marcus noticed that one of the chairs in the waiting room had a broken leg. He fixed it without being asked. He saw that the light in the hallway kept flickering. He replaced it. He found out that the clinic's computer was slow and old. He spent a whole weekend cleaning up its programs and making it run faster. You do not have to do all this, Solara said one evening. I know, Marcus replied. I want to. Why? What do you gain? Marcus put down his tools and looked at her. Has anyone ever done something nice for you without wanting something in return? Solara was quiet. A glow flickered softly. That is what I thought, Marcus said gently. Not everyone wants something, Solara. Some people just like making others happy. It is a human thing, I guess. Solara did not respond, but that night she made him dinner for the first time. It was a simple Valorian dish with strange vegetables and spicy sauce. Marcus ate every bite and asked for the recipe. Solara almost smiled. Kira was the happiest she had been in years. She followed Marcus everywhere when he was around. She asked him endless questions about Earth. What did trees look like? Were there really animals that lived in the water? Did humans really eat frozen milk for fun? Marcus answered every question with patience and humor. He taught her human games. Chess was too complicated, so they played checkers instead. He showed her how to kick a ball in the cargo bay of his ship. She was not very good at it with her forearms, but she laughed every time she missed. The laughter was the best part. It was loud and bright, and it made her glow like a small sun. Marcus lived for those moments. One day, Kira asked him to teach her how to cook human food. They spent an afternoon in Solara's tiny kitchen, making grilled cheese sandwiches. Kira burned the first 3 attempts. The 4th one was perfect. She ran to show her mother with all 4 hands, holding the plate like a treasure. Mom, look what I made. It's called a grilled cheese. Marcus taught me. Solara looked at the slightly messy sandwich. Then she looked at her daughter's bright, glowing face. Then she looked at Marcus, who was standing in the kitchen covered in breadcrumbs and cheese, and she thought it was not a big laugh. It was soft and surprised, like she had forgotten how to do it. But it was real. Marcus felt his heart skip. Kira's eyes went wide with joy. You laughed, Kira whispered. Mom, you laughed. Solara's glow brightened. She pulled Kira into a hug with all 4 arms. I did. I suppose I did. That night, after Kira went to sleep, Solara sat with Marcus on the small balcony that looked out at the stars. They were quiet for a long time. Then Solara spoke. I have not laughed like that since before the war. Since before Torres died. Torres was your husband? Yes. Solara's glow dimmed slightly at the memory. He was kind, brave. He believed that all life had value. He died protecting strangers because he could not stand by and watch them suffer. He sounds like a good man. He was. I was angry at him for a long time. Angry that he chose strangers over us. But now I understand. He could not have lived with himself if he had done nothing. She looked at Marcus. You are like him. You help others, even when it costs you. Why are humans like this? Marcus thought about the question. I do not know. Maybe because we are weak. We are not the strongest species. We are not the smartest. We do not have claws or armor or special powers. All we have is each other. So we learn to stick together, to protect the group. It is the only way we survived. Pack bonding, Solara said. Other species call it pack bonding disorder. They think it is a weakness. Maybe it is, but it is also our greatest strength. We will fight for the people we love. We will die for them. We will walk into fire for them. Because without our pack, we are nothing. Solara was quiet. Then she reached out with one of her hands and placed it on top of his. It was the first time she had touched him willingly. Thank you, Marcus, for staying. Marcus turned his hand over and held hers gently. Always. But happiness does not last forever. Counselor Vorath had been watching from the shadows. He was angry that his plans had been delayed. He was humiliated that a human had challenged Valorian tradition. And he was determined to destroy this strange little family. He sent his people to dig into Marcus's past. They searched records from the frontier wars. They found what they were looking for. 1 week later, Vorath appeared at Solara's clinic with a folder full of documents. His smile was cold and cruel. I thought you should know the truth about your human, he said. He was at the Battle of Valorian Ridge, the same battle where your husband died. He was there, Solara. He was on the other side. Solara's glow flickered wildly. She took the documents with shaking hands. The report showed that Marcus had served as a medic at Valorian Ridge. He had treated human soldiers who fought against Valorian troops. He had been there when Taurus died. That evening, Solara confronted Marcus in his ship. Her glow was dim and unstable. Her eyes were full of pain. "Is it true? Were you at Valorian Ridge?" Marcus felt the world collapse around him. He had known this day might come. He had hoped it would not. "Yes," he said quietly. "I was there. You were there when my husband died? You were on the side that killed him?" "I was a medic. I did not kill anyone. I only tried to save lives. Both sides. Anyone I could reach. But you were there. You knew. And you never told me." Marcus's voice broke. "I did not know your husband. I did not know you. I only found out about the connection after I started coming to your clinic. And by then, I was scared. I was scared that if I told you, you would hate me. And I could not stand the thought of losing you. Losing both of you." Solara stood frozen. Tears rolled down her face, glowing softly in the dim light of the ship. From the doorway came a small voice. "Mom," Kira was standing there. She had followed her mother. She had heard everything. "Mom, please do not be angry at Marcus." "Kira, go home. This is adult talk." "No." Kira walked forward until she was standing between her mother and Marcus. "He stayed. He fixed things. He taught me games. He made you laugh. He stayed when everyone else left." Her small hands grabbed Marcus's hand. "That is what fathers do. They stay. Vareth wants to take me away. Vareth wants to hurt us. But Marcus wants to help us. Why are you angry at the wrong person?" Solara stared at her daughter. Her glow flickered wildly between dark and bright. The silence stretched on and on. Then she fell to her knees and pulled both Kira and Marcus into her arms. All four of them. She held them tight and cried. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I am so sorry. I do not know who to trust anymore. I do not know what is right." Marcus held her back. "It is okay. We will figure it out together. That is what families do." Outside the ship, the stars watched in silence. And somewhere in the dark, Counselor Vareth was planning his next move. The adjudication chamber was the largest room on Kepler 7 station. It had tall ceilings and cold metal walls. 3 judges sat behind a high platform. One was a Valorian elder with a glow like dying embers. One was a Thanari with 6 eyes that missed nothing. One was a Rethkari with a face like carved stone. Together, they would decide the fate of a family. The chamber was full of people. Word had spread across the station about this hearing. Aliens of every species had come to watch. They filled the seats and lined the walls. Everyone wanted to see what would happen to the human who dared to love a Valorian. Counselor Voreth stood on one side of the room. His glow was bright and confident. He believed he had already won. Marcus stood on the other side with Solara and Kira. His face was calm, but his heart was racing. This was the most important moment of his life. If he failed here, he would lose everything. Voreth spoke first. "Honored judges, I am here to protect a Valorian child from an unstable household. The mother is a single widow who cannot provide proper care. The human who claims to court her is psychologically damaged and has hidden his past from her. He suffers from what experts call pack bonding disorder. He forms attachments without reason. He is dangerous." The judges listened without expression. The Valorian elder spoke. "You have brought experts to support these claims?" "I have." Voreth gestured, and a Valorian scientist took the witness stand. He spoke for a long time about human psychology. He used big words and showed charts on a screen. He explained that humans bond with anything, even things that could harm them. He called it a defect of their evolution. Humans cannot be trusted with Valorian children, the scientist concluded. Their emotional patterns are too chaotic, too unpredictable. They would confuse the child and damage her development. More witnesses came. A Valorian cultural expert talked about tradition. A legal expert talked about proper family structures. Everyone agreed that Marcus was wrong for Solara, wrong for Kira, wrong for this station. Through it all, Marcus stayed silent. He held Kira's hand. He felt Solara trembling beside him. But he did not speak. Not yet. Finally, the Rethkari judge turned to him. Marcus Chun, you have heard the arguments against you. Do you wish to respond? Marcus stood up slowly. He walked to the center of the chamber. Every eye in the room was on him. He took a deep breath and began to speak. I am not going to argue about science or tradition. I am not a scientist. I am not a liar. I am just a cargo hauler with an old ship and a lonely heart. So let me tell you a story instead. The chamber went very quiet. 15 years ago, I was at a place called Valorian Ridge. It was during the worst battle of the Frontier Wars. I was a medic. My job was to save lives. Not human lives. Not Valorian lives. Just lives. Marcus's voice was steady, but his hands shook slightly. On the second day of the battle, I found a Valorian soldier dying in a crater. He'd been shot many times. There was nothing I could do to save him, but I stayed with him. I held his hand while he died. He did not speak my language, and I did not speak his. But he looked at me with those purple eyes, and I understood what he wanted. He wanted someone to be there. He did not want to die alone. Solara's glow brightened. Tears fell silently down her face. I never knew that soldier's name, but I made him a promise. I promised that his death would mean something. That someday, somehow, I would do something good enough to balance the scales. Marcus turned to look at Kira. 3 months ago, a little girl walked up to a stranger and asked him to save her family. She was so brave, so scared. She loved her mother so much that she was willing to do anything to keep her safe. I looked at that child, and I saw the same thing I saw in that dying soldier's eyes. The need for someone to stay. The need for someone to care. He turned back to the judges. You ask if I am compatible with this family. You ask if humans are too emotional, too attached, too irrational. And maybe you are right. Maybe we are all of those things. His voice grew stronger. But I will tell you what else we are. We are loyal. When a human loves someone, they love them forever. We do not walk away when things get hard. We do not abandon people who need us. We stay. We fight. We hold on until our hands break and our hearts give out. The chamber was completely silent. Even Vorath had stopped smiling. I know I am not perfect, Marcus continued. I have made mistakes. I have secrets I should have shared. But I am here now. I have been here every day for 3 months. I fixed the broken chairs. I made the grilled cheese sandwiches. I played games in the cargo bay. I made a sad woman laugh for the first time in years. I made a scared little girl glow bright again. He looked at the judges with clear eyes. On Earth, we have a word for what I have done. We call it love. And I know that love is not in your laws. I know it cannot be measured or tested. But it is real. It is the most real thing I have ever felt. Marcus walked back to stand beside Solara and Kira. You can take away my courtship rights. You can ban me from this family. You can send Kira to live with strangers who follow all your rules and traditions. But you cannot make me stop caring about them. You cannot make me stop loving them. That is not how humans work. He sat down. The chamber remained silent. Then Solara stood up. Her glow was brighter than it had been in years. She walked to the center of the chamber and spoke in Old Valorian. The words were ancient and powerful. Everyone who understood them gasped. I choose this one. He is my home now. The Valorian elder leaned forward. Do you know what you are saying? That is the binding vow. It requires no ceremony, no approval. Once spoken, it cannot be undone. I know. Solara's voice was strong and clear. For 2 years, I have lived in darkness. I forgot how to laugh. I forgot how to hope. Then this strange human walked into my clinic with a box of bandages and a kind smile. He asked for nothing. He expected nothing. He simply helped. Day after day, week after week, until I remembered what it felt like to be alive. She turned to face the crowd. You call his love a disorder. You call his attachment a weakness. But I call it a gift. The rarest gift in the galaxy. Someone who stays not because they have to, but because they want to. The judges whispered among themselves. The Lunari spoke next. Counselor Vorath, do you have anything else to add? Vorath stood up, but his confidence was gone. The law clearly states that single-parent households are incomplete. This hearing was called to, the household is no longer single, the Rethkari judge interrupted. The binding vow has been spoken. By your own Valorian traditions, Solara and Marcus are now partnered. The household is complete. Vorath's face twisted with anger. This is absurd. He is a human, and she has chosen him. That is her right under Valorian law. The elder judge struck the table with his hand. This hearing is over. The child will remain with her mother and her mother's chosen partner. Counselor Vorath, you are censured for abuse of legal process. Do not waste this council's time again. The crowd erupted in whispers and gasps. Marcus felt the world spinning around him. They had won. Against all odds, they had won. Kira threw all 4 arms around him and squeezed tight. Her glow was blinding. Dad, she said. I get to call you Dad now, right? Marcus hugged her back with tears in his eyes. Right, sweetheart. You can call me Dad. Solara joined the embrace. For a moment, the 3 of them stood together in the center of the chamber, holding each other while the galaxy watched. Outside, the Rethkari merchant from weeks ago turned to his Thanari friend. I do not understand humans. They adopt anything. They love anyone. It makes no sense. The Thanari watched the small family walking out of the chamber. The little girl was glowing like a star. The mother was laughing. The human was crying happy tears. Perhaps, the Thanari said, that is exactly why the galaxy needs them. 1 year later, the stubborn mule had new markings on its hoe. Valorian family glyphs sat next to its Earth registration numbers. The clinic on level 6 was busy and successful. And in a small apartment on Kepler 7 station, a strange little family sat together for dinner. Kira told them about her day at school. She had made friends with a Rethkari girl and a human boy. They were going to study together tomorrow. Solara smiled and asked Marcus about his latest cargo run. He told her about the strange planet he had visited and the funny aliens he had met. She laughed at his jokes, even the bad ones. After dinner, Kira fell asleep on the couch. Marcus carried her to bed while Solara watched. Her glow was soft and warm. Thank you, she whispered when he returned. For everything? Marcus kissed her forehead. Thank you for letting me stay. You never would have left anyway. You humans are stubborn like that. Marcus laughed. That is why my ship is called the Stubborn Mule. That night, Solara's glow was so bright that Marcus did not need to turn on the lights. And somewhere in the stars, the galaxy kept spinning, a little bit warmer than before, because that is what humans do. They find cold, dark places and they fill them with light.